Welcome back to TALNT Cast, everyone. I'm Fatima, and today we're bringing you something totally different. So dim your lights, put your headphones on, close the doors. We're about to let you in on a big secret. Ready? We're joined by Zack, Lona, and August Gibson. Hello.
Hey, thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you guys for joining. Welcome to TALNT Cast. We have a lot to talk about, but it's very quick as a title. This is about the SCP Foundation. This is the big secret, right? Can you let us know what the hell did we just get exposed to?
It's a big,
in your own words.
Question. Yeah. Yeah, I could lead with that. So the SCP Foundation is like a pillar of like horror internet culture. Like it got started in 2008, and basically what it is it's a giant wiki, a sort of decentralized storytelling project where there's this process where really anyone can kind of contribute stories within this SCP Foundation world. And the premise of it is it's like this X-Files, Men in Black type of organization that is cataloging anomalous phenomena like monsters, ghosts, just like weird stuff that happens in this universe. And it's really popular. It's got a huge fan base, around the world, really dedicated community. And it's a good time. August, I'm sure I'm missing a couple of things, but that's basically.
Oh no, yeah, you hit it right on the head. I think it's a really exciting community of storytellers that come together. And in recent, I guess maybe for the last 15 years especially, there's been a lot of really cool fan derivative projects that were built on it. So you have like video games, short films, just really cool creations that the community is constantly working on.
I love that. Well, Matt, you came right on time. We just started and they're exposing all their secrets to us, and I love it.
Oh yes, I love that. Secrets that only DCP knows. Hey guys, good to see you. Thanks for coming on the TALNT Cast.
Great to see you too.
Good to see you, Matt.
I love that. Okay, let's where were we? The SCP Foundation. I would love to, let's say if we wanted to summarize it in a couple of sentences for someone who's just browsing the internet and then randomly comes across one of the articles. What would you say in one or two sentences?
The SCP Foundation is a community of storytellers that come together and contribute to a shared internet wiki where stories about monsters, anomalous figures are cataloged in sort of a redacted file kind of structure. And this has been happening since 2008, and the community continues to grow. I think there's like over 8,000 entries now.
10,000. Yeah, we just passed 10,000.
So define the entries. 10,000 entries. Are you talking about like different storylines, or like what do those entries translate to?
Yeah, so each entry is like one from to 10,000. Each of them is like sort of in. Most of them are like self-contained reports about a particular anomalous phenomena. So one of them is like a toaster, and it's just a normal toaster, but when you're in the proximity of the toaster, you start to talk like you're the toaster. It's like, I am a toaster. I would like to, toast bread or whatever. And then you have like the big bad monsters where it's like there's one of the most famous ones is SCP-096. They're all designated by 1 through 10,000. So SCP-096 is one of the most famous ones, and he's this big, emaciated, scary monster guy. And the mechanic is that if you look at his face, if you see his face, even if it's in a picture where there's 4 pixels and he's captured in that picture, he's going to come get you, and he's going to give you a really bad time.
The SCP Foundation, I don't know the exact people who started it, but basically like our unique offering within the already existing community is saying, look, we want to bring like studio level film production to this decentralized story network. So these stories already exist, and they exist in a Creative Commons licensed way, which allows for anyone to come in and contribute adaptations to these stories. And the only terms really are making sure that you're attributing the original creator. So you'll have someone who created SCP-096, for example.
Mhm.
And if we wanted to go and bring SCP-096, and say, into our short film, which we've done, then that all we have to do is basically attribute, this original creator of 096, and then now we're allowed to use that in our project. For
So
us,
it's like
go
a
ahead.
Creative Commons license with attribution, making sure the attribution occurs.
Yeah, which I think is Creative Commons License 3.0, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so we
Amazing.
didn't create the SCP Foundation. We're just happy to be here, and we're really lucky that so many people have come together to create all this stuff, because it makes for like a really enriched audience experience. For us
Mhm.
as filmmakers, we see such an opportunity to tell unique stories and make a contribution to the community that maybe they haven't seen before.
Looking through the wiki and everything, that I notice is that basically nothing is canon. So anyone can essentially create anything. There's so much freedom that offers. How have you kind of felt with that freedom and that kind of lack of structure?
Yeah, it's interesting. That is like the rule, is that there are no rules. I mean, there are rules, but a single unified canon is just not something that's even possible at the scale of what this project has accomplished so far. So it's really like creatively liberating from an artistic standpoint. And one thing you run into is that people want sort of a unified story experience. It's easiest for me to talk about it, the canon thing, in the context of our short film that we produced, SCP Containment Breach. 10 minutes right now, live on YouTube. And our goal with it is to adapt a video game that was adapted from the SCP Wiki, called SCP Containment Breach, that came out I think like 2010s, the early 2010s, and it's like a classic indie horror game. So our two goals with that short were to adapt the story of SCP Containment Breach, and it's a video game, it's an indie video game, so it's sort of a bare bones, very like sensory experience. But then you have all of this canon, quote unquote, from the wiki that we also like. So we also are interested artistically in bringing some of that into the Containment Breach story, stuff that wasn't in the video game. So we see it as an opportunity to sort of like, is really our take and our vision for the SCP Foundation, and it's like a Keter Labs canon that we're trying to build, on the rails of the SCP Containment Breach video game story, while also peppering in stuff that we're really interested in from the wiki.
I am curious though, with this model of kind of this Creative Commons model with attribution, that somebody created a character. Okay, it came out of their mind, and I'm sure in their mind, this is what that character does. And then, but it can be utilized by others that didn't create that character in their own story, that kind of builds out the SCP universe. So have there ever been instances, and it sounds like the community is very much behind this concept, but have there ever been situations where like, hey, you're using that character, I intended this character to behave this way, talk this way, this is what their interests and lack of interest are, but now you're utilizing them in this way. Is that ever created friction between the creator and then someone that's tapping into that creator's kind of creations?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think there have been a couple of examples of that, but really when you're deciding to create something on the SCP Foundation wiki, you're aware of the fact that people are really legally allowed to take whatever they want from your story, as long as they give you credit and link back to the original work. It's pretty much free game, and then that's really what you're signing up for in the SCP, creative world. So, and that's really kind of the power of it too. It's like, this is why the license is why it's been able to become so ubiquitous in internet horror culture, is because of the network effect, the decentralized network effect of all these different storytelling takes, and just the fact that you can kind of pick and choose and give your own takes on things, or create your own stuff.
Yeah, Zach and I, we have this background where we love folklore, we like cryptids, we like decentralized storytelling. And what's really cool about the SCP Foundation and the structural component with this license is that it really allows for people to engage in sort of a folkloric process with characters. You know, like it's like you hear like, oh, there are so many Bigfoot stories, right? Everyone kind of has their own idea about what Bigfoot is, but the overall story is Bigfoot. Bigfoot is at the center of that, you know. And for example, Zach was talking about SCP-096. Like, there are so many versions of 096 now out in the world, and a lot of them are pretty. Oh, go ahead.
Anthony, just to clarify, 096, let's do 173, because 173 is the one in our film with the statue.
Oh,
096 was a different one.
Are you keeping track of this, Fatima?
I'm trying.
Okay.
Yeah, well, like with, you know, I think one of the things that I love about the SCP Foundation is that there's just like this folkloric mechanic to the whole community. You know, people have different stories with different characters, and that's part of the fun. And the license really opens the door to that being possible. And I think it speaks to just like how the internet actually works, and like honors it as like a historical, I don't know, map of characters. And like, communities are aware of a central figure, but they're also aware that like when more people come in, more lore is added. And I think what's nice about having a wiki is there's always something to come back to, but people know that that's not like where the bill stops. There's so much more to explore.
I want to hear a little bit more about that film that you guys posted on YouTube. It went absolutely crazy. And I was very interested. Again, it's not thematically something that I would have by myself watched. And when Matt sent it to me, I was like, what am I watching? Within the first 2 minutes, I'm like, I can't look away. I have to keep watching. And I got super curious, and that's amazing. So that's my favorite thing about storytelling. Tell me a little bit about how that came to be.
Yeah, so that short film is really just a proof of concept for our ultimate goal, which is creating a feature-length version of that story of SCP Containment Breach and the greater wiki. So we produced it with that in mind. So the fact that it's had so much success already in the 4 months since we released it tells us that it's really resonating with the fans, and that we were sort of, you know, on the money with our vision for what our SCP Foundation looks like, and that it's resonating with the fans, and that's really the most important part. So we're really proud.
Yeah, resonating with people that didn't know about it before either. So, and that's amazing.
Yeah, and that's the thing too, is that I'm really glad to hear that, because it is very lore heavy. Maybe the feature length version will sort of find a balance between appealing to the really hardcore fans who know all about the lore, and, you know, newcomers who are going to a theater and saying, oh, what's this, you know, this new movie I'm hearing about. They'll be able to enjoy it at the same level. In a similar way too. So, but the proof of concept film itself is very lore heavy. There's a lot of, you know, references that, you know, you almost have to be a hardcore fan to pick up on or appreciate. But the fact that it does, you know, kind of resonate with folks who didn't know what the SCP Foundation even was going into it. We've had comments like that on the video too, where it's like, I didn't know what this was, but I loved it. I'm hooked. I'm in this world now.
Exactly. It's so cool.
I'm getting there. I'm very close to being fully hooked. Like, the more I learn about it. And these fictional worlds, it's like once you let them in, they're like part of you. Yeah. You know, whether it be like, you know, Lord of the Rings or Stranger Things, or just like these kind of fictional universes that exist. Even big projects like Star Wars, people can't get enough of it. Like, you've got all these different, you know, offshoot stories on like Disney Plus about they just focus on Obi-Wan Kenobi. You know, that's just like this small little piece of the greater Star Wars universe. Like all these, you know, smaller, you know. You can sound off the numbers. I'm not in the club yet strong enough to know all the numbers for all the SCP stories. But, you know, once you're in that universe, it just becomes part of you.
Yeah, it definitely does. There is something to be said about escapism, right? But also, because this story specifically, it almost mirrors reality to a certain degree, with a little, you know, fantastical elements and the monsters, but we also don't know what's out there. So it's, you know, we don't know how unrealistic it really is. I'm just gonna say that.
Yeah, I mean that's something we wanted to capture in the short too. Is that I think part of what's fascinating for us in this subject matter is exploring what the bureaucracy behind this organization is like, and the humans behind it that are making it all run and containing all these really dangerous world-ending phenomena. What are their lives like? And they're not perfect. They're going to screw things up. So how does that play into this big, anomalous world of danger and intrigue? So that's that's something that we're really personally interested in exploring artistically within the SCP stuff.
I love that. And how do you think the balance between these huge issues of aliens and monsters and creatures that you have to go after, and then the human side of things, or if you have a bad day, or if you're sad, or if you're going through a divorce, so anything that's I don't know why my head went there, but things like that,
real life stuff.
Real life stuff.
Well, and it's not just us that are fascinated with that either. I mean, we talk about the SCP Foundation as this horror property. It is a sci-fi horror property, but the freedom that the wiki allows in its license, anyone can sort of take it and give their own spin on it. People have done, really cute SCP entries. People have done romantic comedies. People have done, interpersonal dramas, all within this world. So it's not like you have to do horror or you have to do sci-fi. As long as it's drawing from this creative well in this fictional universe, there's no limit on the kinds of stories that you can tell within it. So that's something also that we're really interested in.
I want to know more about you guys, if you don't mind. Tell me about the both of you. How did you meet? How did you start Keter Labs or Keter Labs?
Keter Labs.
Yes, I've been saying that. Okay, good. Tell me more about you guys.
Yeah, I mean, we met back in Chicago in 2018, I think.
Yep, 2018.
Yeah, and Zack was at work on his first feature film, and we chatted it up a bit. Went to a couple film Chicago community events, and then a friend of ours connected us, and we just realized that we could be a good fit for each other in terms of collaborators. And I helped Zack produce the first feature film, which is called He Who Lives in Hidden Lakes, and I believe is on Amazon right now as we speak. So
it is, and Tubi.
Tune in. We've just been consistent collaborators from there. I think we've always been really interested in trying to figure out what it means to be an indie filmmaker with the internet, and what kind of shape that can take. So our collective project has always been, how do we build a sustainable career given today's everything, with the industry doing what it's doing today, and what does it mean for an indie filmmaker to survive and actually make things that people go out and see?
Do you have the answer?
We'll tell you after the SCP project. We'll see how it goes.
That's very fair. That's very fair. I mean, I think we kind of have at least part of the answer at DCP. It's an entryway. It's a door. We are moving into distribution too. So we got a couple options. If we're multiple choice, we're definitely there. So yes.
What was the name of your film again, Zack?
SCP. The feature was called He Who Lives in Hidden Lakes.
Is that horror?
It's not horror. It's there's a monster, there's a cryptid in it, and that's sort of the anchoring piece of drama. It's very low budget, kind of run and gun. It was my first film, but I always tell people I wouldn't change a thing about it because it was sort of designed around the production limitations. And I was trying to figure out what kind of story I could tell that satisfied my artistic impulses, that we could make with, a very DIY kind of post mumblecore production ethos.
Now, as part of the short film that you guys posted on YouTube, shortly after, Zack, you posted an announcement that we might be collaborating, both DCP and Keter Labs, to do an award that has to do with the SCP Foundation. And the idea is essentially that you guys are going to be crowdfunding and DCP might match that. Am I right, Matt? Am I missing anything there?
Yeah, I'll let Zach talk about the details, but in summary, a Kickstarter campaign or some kind of crowdfunding campaign, and based on the performance of that campaign, there may be new awards that show up on the DCP platform.
Yeah, so our goal here, really at Keter Labs at large, is not just to finance our own feature film in the SCP world. We want to enable other creators in the community to also make their SCP films, and really just trying to figure out a way to make, like Anthony said, or like August said, try to figure out a way, like August said, to make more studio level SCP content become a reality. And the way that we might be collaborating with DCP is that we're going to launch our Kickstarter, we're going to hit our base goal, and then once we hit a stretch goal, we'll take a portion of our crowdfunding films, dedicate it to an award on the DCP platform, and then we hear that you guys are going to match it, which is really just an incredible opportunity for filmmakers and SCP creators, because this might be the first time that someone is actually giving financing to SCP filmmakers.
Yeah, so the goal is to, I believe, if we meet the performance goals, that there will be 2 films. I think there's more details of what the award amount will be for those, but to be able to create 2 new projects that utilize the technology of DCP, where the community helps decide what filmmakers are most deserving to create those short film awards. So it's so exciting. It's so exciting that it's, you guys are doing your thing, but you care so much about the SCP Foundation that you want to hear other voices, and you're willing to allocate some of the funding that is going to be received through your campaign to help support those creators. So it's a testament to you guys and to the SCP Foundation, collectively.
Yeah, absolutely. That's honestly part of what I love the most about working with DCP and getting to meet filmmakers is getting to know people that have these values that you guys have. And it just really, anyone who's listening, go ahead and support, add on to that, because people like that deserve it. So I'm just gonna, side note this here a little bit, and go back to, do we have any updates since you posted the announcement up until now? How are things going?
Well, we've got our YouTube channel. It's growing pretty steadily. We've got a ton more video essays around the SCP Foundation and media, and just kind of like the things that we're working on in terms of the vision for the film, and then also more videos on just how this could work at a larger scale within the film industry too. So we've got things that are kind of playing in the background in terms of the film's development and the Kickstarter. We don't want to spoil too much, but there's some fun things happening. And yeah, we're really just gearing up for the crowdfund launching later this year.
I love that. We have our eye on you guys. We have our eye on the community, and very, very excited to see what comes next. Oof, I dropped the slogan. Matt, did you hear that? It just comes out naturally. What comes next?
I know. And that just might be DCP Plus.
Just
and that's like our hope is, we create great films, by partnering with organizations like you guys at Keter Labs, and then great content is created and its home is on DCP Plus. But we'll cross that bridge later on down the road. But I'm very confident that your crowdfunding campaign will be a success. So keep it up, guys.
Amen.
You're well on your way.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
we really appreciate you taking the time to talk with us.
Anything you want to share with the listeners, for filmmakers, for the DCP community that might still not be aware of the SCP Foundation, please go ahead.
Yeah, I would say there's not just our SCP film on YouTube. There's a ton more, and they're all indie and they're all really great. So if you just hit SCP Foundation short film in YouTube, you're going to get met with a ton of really awesome stuff. So I would recommend not only checking out our short film, but also everyone else's too.